So you may be wondering, how the heck did I hit that bomber with my lance? I was clearly far away enough that my lance would not have touched the bomber at all. Well, in this video, I'll talk about how this bug is produced and how it works. But before I continue on, I do need to say that I am not a developer for Guts and Blackpowder, and my analysis is purely assumptions and inferences. Alright, so first thing we need to do is go into settings and click interface. We would want to enable debug hit detection, which will show the client hit detection. And with that enabled, you can see pretty much the hitboxes of every single weapon. So here's the saber. And these red lines are basically any zombie that intercepts these red lines will get hit. So let's just spawn a shambler to demonstrate. So as you can see, when you'll see these green lines and green and orange dots, I'll cover what these dots are in my analysis later on in this video, but as you can see with the saber, it's kind of interesting because there's red lines here and not just at the saber model itself, meaning that we can actually hit and kill zombies with the model not actually touching them. So let's demonstrate one more time. And as you can see, they died. Alright, so that's basically how Guts and Blackpowder's hit detection works. Very simple. But something weird happens when you incorporate shift lock. And this is a very common thing because hit detection in this game is being detected through the client and authorized through the server. So what that means is, well, what I mean by client is that when you do shift lock, something crazy happens when you flick using shift lock. So when we have this out and we swing, boom, look at that. This is what I mean by client. Since we're doing shift lock, the hitbox kind of goes weird. And that was 90 degrees. Meaning 90 degrees from the direction we did the shift lock, so like that. And the angle, the amount of degrees that you do your shift lock from worsens the hitbox. So if you do 180, look at that, that's even worse. That's farther away. Now, you may be wondering, does this actually kill the zombies? Well, short answer, no, not really, unfortunately. Because for some reason, it just doesn't detect. Look at that. Clearly went through the zombie, but no, it doesn't damage him. Even with sideways, it went through him, but when you just hit him normally, it works. Alright, so you may be wondering, why not? Why not kill the zombie? The red line's obviously there. So I actually do not have a good explanation for this. I actually discovered this bug a few moments ago, and it puzzles me as much as you are. But we're not here talking about the saber. We're here talking about the lance. Now, there's something crazy about the lance when we apply this glitch. Boom. Okay, now you realize something. We have these green, orange, and this green line. That did not happen with the regular saber. Yeah, it didn't happen. So this is what's interesting about the lance. Okay, now we're going to get into the more technical stuff about this glitch, and we will be talking about those green and orange dots you saw earlier. Alright, so we got this diagram here. I know it's very rough, but it'll get the job done. So before we talk about the dots, the green line here doesn't have any significant function, so we can just ignore that. So the function behind these dots are the game server's way of authorizing a hit, because you remember that the very long hit detection lines are happening in the client. And if you're doing game development, you can't trust the client because that allows hackers to do some crazy shit. So what this green dot is and this orange dot is, we'll talk about the green dot first. The green dot only happens when we register a hit detection. And the lance is the only one that does this, notified by the green line. So when that happens, we get 2 dots. The first dot, the green one, is essentially the server checking a reasonable spot for a zombie to get hit, which would be the tip of the lance. And the orange dot would be where the zombie intercepts the hit detection line, which is on the client. Now the server checks, this is where the green dot is actually where the zombie should get hit reasonably. And this is where the client says the zombie got hit. Now the server calculates if the distance between these 2 dots is reasonable, because when you're doing a regular hit, obviously the real dot, the green dot, and the orange dot would be very close because it's an actual hit. But in this case, it's not. It's very far away. The server sees this and says, hey, this is not a reasonable distance from where the client is and the real spot, so we do not count the hit. All right, we're back in the game, but there's one very, very, very important thing I'm missing out on, and I'm not telling you guys, is that this glitch is very weird. And as weird as it already is, this one just makes it even weirder. And I and myself don't know why, but this is the most specific thing ever, but it's just like that. So one important thing is that when you're doing this glitch, you might have remembered that in the beginning I showed you I killed the bomber, but I just went through a whole analysis saying the server it's saying it's too far away. So how did that bomber get killed? Well, this system the programmers wrote is very inconsistent. And it's very inconsistent when you're doing it while you're flicking at an angle more than less than the 180 front degree of you. So you can see the 180 degrees. If you flick anywhere in this region, it can't be behind or anywhere. But if you do it like this, oh, it's very hard. Like that. Hold on, maybe it's a lot easier if you do it more front. What? There we go. So it only works. It's quite inconsistent sometimes, but it's only possible if you're looking ahead and not flicking from an angle past your 180 view. And again, if you remember, the greater the angle you flick from, the farther it is. So you see it's a lot bigger, and that's a lot smaller. So it's a lot more easier if it's like 45 degrees. I'd say 45 degrees is the most consistent angle you can get, but you have to remember you gotta get close. So the effectiveness wears down. There. As you can see, my lance from here wouldn't have reached the igniter, but we still got some extra range. Let's see if we can get a longer one. Let's summon some shamblers. There we go. So let's see. A little too far, or maybe I should increase the angle. Oh, I missed that completely. Yeah, the closer you're to the 180 zone, like right here, that's like to the 90 degree zone, it becomes a lot harder. So you should probably try like 70 degrees or 60 degrees. But you're gonna have to get closer. There we go. We got some hits. There. So yeah, you can do it pretty consistently once you got the angle done. And also, you have to remember, you should flick right before the lance retreats back. So the moment it reaches its peak, you should flick immediately, like that. See, you should stay. So the golden spot for me is 60, 70 degrees or so. Leave some room at the 90 degree point, and you can also do this on the left side. I'm pretty sure. It's just I always do it on the right, and I'm just used to it. It might be a little weird for me. There we go. So you can see anywhere in this zone. So like 70 here, 70 there, whatever. So yeah, you can actually do this. So yeah, you get the point. But now the question that you guys really care about is this practical? Can you do this? Can you do this while in like a real game while these zombies are moving? Okay, first, yes, this works when the zombies are moving. I tried it out. Second, this is not practical at all. Sorry to disappoint you, but this is not, like, you're never gonna do this in like an endless or objective map. The mainly because is that this is very hard to do while you're moving. When you're moving backwards, yeah, sure, you can flick, but remember, I just said you can't do it while you can't flick while you're facing backwards. It has to be in front of you. And of course, while you're looking in front, you're always in shift lock or in first person, which just doesn't work. So unless you can flick your mouse in like a single frame, then no, you can't do this. So yeah, the only thing I think you can do with this is just as a little funny trick to confuse your friends, because when you're doing a La Ferme kite, you always have those zappers. You'll always have those zappers left when the wave ends. So if you're the last one standing, you can trick all the spectators and think you're hacking with doing this glitch on zappers, because you can't. Zappers are way too slow, and you won't get grabbed by any shamblers or anything. Because yeah. So let's spawn some zappers. So let's spawn like 10. So let's let them spread out a bit. So yeah, they're very slow. So let's see. Okay, there we go. We got some. So you can do this with your friends and trick them. And if you want to play it safe, especially when you're using Lance, because when you're doing kites, your HP is going to be very low usually. And it's very risky when you don't have a firearm and you don't want to mess up the server. So you can do this glitch. Boom. So yeah, this is the super, quote unquote, super Lance glitch, and yeah, you can try it out for yourselves. You can try it on some zappers if you want. I don't think you can really do this with shamblers. I mean, you can, but you're gonna be standing still. You can do this with runners, but that's very risky because if you miss once, you're gonna die. But yeah, this works. This is on the latest version, by the way. This is 0.17.9H. Many hotfixes done. Glitch was never patched. Will this glitch get patched? Probably. The thing is that this glitch is pretty hard to patch. Because of how the nature of the client and how this is checked and stuff. But I don't know why. I think it'd be easy to fix if you just fix the inconsistencies, and yeah. Anyways, that's the bug I wanted to show you guys. It was very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone like record or post about this, so I felt obligated to show you guys that you can do this. Anyways, see you later.